The pandemic has raised some big questions about the way we govern ourselves, about our society.
This pandemic has been a massive wake-up call to expose the vulnerabilities that have existed for a very long time.
To make sense of all of this, we needed to come together, bringing our skill sets from law, from ethics, from philosophy, from public health.
In this book, what we're trying to do is gather as much information as we can from around the world and from leading experts.
The book provides for directions for deep, transformative structural reforms that would prevent other crises to have the impact that we are witnessing.
We shouldn't go back to normal because normal wasn't good enough.
The textbook will inform policymakers to be able to make much more equitable and effective policies.
Is that this book will be part of how we do better as a society.
Hi, everyone. My name is Vanessa MacDonnell. I'm an associate professor at the law school. I teach criminal and constitutional law. I'm also the co-director of the U-Ottawa Public Law Centre, which is a university research centre, which was launched about 18 months ago in August 2019. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about an innovative research project that the Centre collaborated on with the Centre for Health Law Policy and Ethics last year after the COVID pandemic broke. So I, along with 4 other colleagues, Sophie Thériault from the Civil Law Section, Colleen Flood, the inaugural director of the Centre for Health Law Policy and Ethics, Sridhar Venkatapuram, who is a noted bioethicist, and Jane Philpott, who is the former Minister of Health and now Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences at Queen's, we got together to edit a rapid response book called Vulnerable: The Law, Ethics, and Policy of COVID-19. And the idea was, in the early stages of the pandemic, it became clear that governments, from the municipal government to the federal government, were going to need to act quickly and decisively to address the pandemic, and that the pandemic was raising a host of legal, ethical, and policy issues that we thought engaged the collective expertise of university academics. And so we brought together a group of dozens of scholars who, within a period of 8 weeks, wrote short chapters on the book, on the topic of the pandemic for the book. And we published this collection, Open Access, in early July of 2020. And this book dealt with a number of issues, and the kind of hope was, rather than waiting until the pandemic was over and offering a retrospective account of the response or an evaluation of the response, we wanted to be part of the conversation. We wanted to help shape the conversation. We wanted to identify what we felt were some important issues that governments were going to have to confront in responding to the pandemic. And we wanted to engage the public and give the public tools to think through the various decisions that were being made as we responded to the pandemic. Very early, I think it's fair to say, it became obvious that the pandemic was going to impact different groups in slightly different ways, and that the health impacts of the pandemic would be more severe in groups that were already vulnerable, and that the responses of government might inadvertently exacerbate some of those vulnerabilities. And so the choice of the term vulnerable was really about bringing an equity lens to the COVID-19 response to say, we need to identify the ways in which people are vulnerable, and for example, your ability to stay home and isolate, for example, is very different if you're a university professor versus a frontline healthcare worker or someone who's working in a grocery store. And so in many ways, our ability to stay safe and to access the kind of care that we might need if we did get sick depends still to a great deal on our social location and other factors. So I invite you to have a look at this book, which is open access. So you can go onto the University of Ottawa website and download at the University of Ottawa Press website the entire volume. A selection of those editors are now working on a second version of the book that's going to be a little bit more retrospective and look at where we've come. But this was a first attempt to try to identify the big issues, legal and ethical policy issues around the pandemic. So this is an example of the kind of work that the Public Law Centre engages in. We write, research, think, tweet, speak about all sorts of public law issues, and it's really important for us to be relevant, to intervene in issues as they're unfolding, and to try to both convene and participate in exchanges about how we get public policy right, how we make sure that our policies are inclusive, and that they not only do no harm, but that they aim to remediate the disadvantage that exists in our society. So I hope that as a new incoming student at U Ottawa, you'll find opportunities to get involved with the Public Law Centre. We hold a number of events throughout the year, and we also are trying, as we develop our projects and programming, to get students more involved in our projects as well. So check us out, and congratulations to you on being offered a position at the law school. Our experiences as academics, our knowledge is influenced so much by the insights that are generated by students through our discussions with students. So we look forward to welcoming you on campus. Thank you.